do. I had to give you all a long yo this time because you know what I'm saying we had some issues last week with Facebook acting wild, but Zuckerberg, whoever Berg ain't finna stop this train. Let the newbies know they still in the right place. This is the Life Be Lifing podcast. Yeah, yeah. And if you've been watching the last couple of weeks, I know you've been missing the shorty, but she back in the building. The wonderful, the witty, the wise, the sagacious, vivacious, electric, and eclectic one. The squishy gangster. Mimi, the goddess. She back
Yeah,
home.
yeah, I'm back.
Yeah, yeah. And she is flanked by none other than your fat freckle man, your favorite coach's favorite coach, the big dog himself. Who? Coach is right back with y'all. We have a special guest, and I guess I got to start doing them like how they do me when I show up too many times. Like this her last time being a guest. After this, she just a homie that pulled up. You know what I'm saying? But we have curator, author, podcaster, reluctant podcaster.
Reluctant podcaster.
all these things, man. Like she said, we ain't got time to write off all her accolades and all the different hats she wear.
Nah, for
That'll waste the
sure.
whole podcast. But she is the multi-talented, the awesome Taya, aka as I like to call her, Taya, the curator. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me back again
Love to have you.
on
Thanks
one
for
of my
showing up.
favorite podcasts for sure.
Ah, we love it.
Hey, I love
Don't
that. I
talk
love that. I
about
love
it.
that.
Y'all already
I
know.
love that.
I'm on here every week watching.
We
That's a
appreciate you.
fact. That's a fact. Definitely a faithful member of the chat. Speaking of which, let me go ahead and check that. And as I check that, um, let's catch up with Mimi in the meantime. What's been going down, Brown?
Oh man, birthday month has concluded.
Whoop.
Yup. So we did vacation. Went to St. Martin. That was a blast. Almost died on a jet ski. Well, I didn't almost die, but I tell you what, motorsports can't ever have nobody on the back of my shit again. Get your own or you can't get on. Cause I know one thing, I can swim, but having somebody on the back of your jet ski that can't, and y'all end up taking a wave and ending up in the dark, deep blue sea, it's an
Mm.
experience. So, needless to say, it's like that's something I'm glad that I lived to tell the story about, and I don't ever got to do it again. We can laugh about it now, but the shit wasn't funny then.
I bet.
So, hey, who better to do crazy shit with than your bestie? So, it was her first time on a jet ski, and I was just like, "Oh, all right, this is a tour of the island. This should be easy. We just gonna be breezing through the water. It's no, nah." This dude was on some next level stuff, and I was like, first of all, this water too choppy for that. Second of all, did y'all see what people's level with a jet ski was? No, y'all didn't. It was
Mm.
interesting to say the least. So, but
These
vacation
jet
was
ski
great.
pros out there.
Yeah, listen, they can tell you if you don't know how to take them waves, if you don't got the right shit on, it's yeah. You think you taking a tour where you just cruising the island, maybe going 10, 15 miles? Nah, bro was all in with it. Like he was standing up on the jump, one leg in it, one hand. I was like,
Yes, sir.
yeah, he was mean with it, but I was like, yeah, I don't know who y'all giving tours to on the usual, but I'm not a biker boy. Like them days for me are over. So I've been on a jet ski since probably 2015, maybe. Yeah, 2015. I've been on jet ski since 2015 because every island I would go to, I would be like, yeah, I'm jet skiing. I'm jet skiing. And then it's like everybody be scared to do it. So I'm like, or we didn't have time to do it. So I was like, I'll just do it next time. I'll do it next. But she was like, I know you like the jet ski, so we're gonna jet ski. Cause it's both our birthdays. So I was like, all right, cool. You think you want to do it? No problem. Like, yeah, she had a good time. She said she ain't never gotta do it again. Never gotta do it again. But I will tell you this. I'm glad I know how to swim because she doesn't know how to swim. And I'm glad we had on life jackets because that could have been tragic. And water whoops your ass.
Yes, it
And
does every
when I
time.
tell you, so Nari, you said I was sick. I wasn't sick. My body was tired. Like my legs were
Understood.
bruised. I actually have like a little bruise on my forehead. Yeah, because when you hit the water, you hit it hard. It's like I dove in the water to get her. Like she came off the jet ski. I didn't.
Mm.
I dove in the water to get her because I was like, she cannot fucking swim. So
You
yeah,
was
I
in there
had
being
like,
Baywatch. You was out there
man,
being
listen.
Baywatch.
I was like, oh, I'm so far from being a lifeguard. Them days is way over for me. So,
Mm.
yeah, that water whooped my ass, and I like literally came back home, and I was like lethargic. I could not get my body to recover because like you have to. I had to swim and like pull the jet ski towards her to let her get on. It's just like it
Man,
was the
that's some
biggest
work.
struggle. And I said, thank God I'm strong. But if it didn't teach me nothing, my ass need to get back in shape like I was like 2019 shape because
Hmm.
them extra 50 pounds I done gained back, it was showing improving in me trying to finagle that whole little situation. So yeah, I was just tired. It took my body a good 2 weeks to recover from that. I still have like little bruises here and there. 'Cause I don't think people
Wow.
realize how strong of a force water actually is. Like
Yes,
water
it
is a
is.
very strong force. And then when you got like high waves, choppy water, and I was just thankful we didn't have like no current or undertow because we probably would have been pulled under for sure. So yeah, yeah. But
Wow.
we continue the tour. We saw it through, my boy. We finished it out. And I was just like, yeah. From now I'm gonna stick with the oh, you can get on your jet ski and just play around. Don't go past this area. I'm gonna stick with that from now on. I don't need no more tours and no more islands. Unless I'm with a group of slow old white people that just want to take it real easy. We were all younger, right? Because again, people like see us and the young married couple we were with, young white couple, and of course they from the Carolinas, so they had jet skis. They do it all the time. They was like, "Oh yeah, we jet ski all the time." I was like, "Yeah, I mean, I'm very familiar with a jet ski. Have been on one in a long time." They was like, "Oh, we good then." Yeah, even they was like, this was too much. Like they just got newly married. He was like, yeah, my wife was like hollering, and she's never done that before. They was like, yeah, this was a lot. This was kind of unusual. So I was like, yeah, glad I made it back from that. But other
That's
than
what's
that,
up.
man, it's just back to business as usual. Back to working out, getting my ass kicked, back to the daily grind of work, and then three of my nephews graduated this week, so yeah, so it's been busy for me, man. So like, even one graduated today, so I just was like, thank God his graduation is earlier in the day, so I ain't have to be out the way for this. So, but then my goddaughter graduated last week, so she
Hmm.
finally finished with high school on her way to DSU. So life been doing this thing in a good way. Life been lifing in a good way. These are the positive things
Yep.
I'll take from life be life. So,
I
but
dig
yeah.
it. I dig it. Yeah, life be life and cut both ways. Yes, indeed. Yes,
I
indeed.
ain't forgot it. I owe y'all game night. I ain't forgot. So we'll have to
Yeah,
do it
listen,
again.
I'm about
This
to say,
can't
I'm
be the
just waiting.
birthday edition. It's got to be the get to know Mimi edition. So yeah.
Stay less, stay less. Listen, that's gonna be your episode, so I'm gonna let you call it. I'm gonna just go ahead and format it for you.
Gotcha.
However you
I'll
want to
take
do
it.
it. However you want to do it. But we are more than glad to have you back in the building. Glad to
Thank
have you back
you.
home with us, man. The folks missed you, of course. They ask about you every time they don't see
Y'all. I love y'all.
you.
Y'all the cutest.
And the folks love you too. I kind of was like, damn, all right, I see who the favorite is. Um,
Clock that T. Can't get rid of me. No, let me quit. Let me quit.
hey, shoot, that ain't my plan, so I'm good. Um, but yeah, folks, thank you for joining us tonight. The YouTube feed is feeding. By all means, join the chat. Ladies, feel free to share the link. Um,
Okay.
and let's get to the conversation. Let's not further delay. So, I don't see where it was on my Facebook where I posted it, even though I tried. But however, Cam Newton had Woody the Great, you know what I'm saying? From, I'm about to say, I can't even list all the different things he's been in. New Edition. I remember back when he was doing skit comedy, sketch comedy, and currently he's on Power. I don't know which version of it because I don't still watch anymore.
Ghost Book 2
There you
with
go.
Tyreek. Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. What's his character's name?
Damn, I can't
Kane.
remember.
Kane.
Kane.
Kane. All right, all right.
You
That's
call him
lazy
Woody the
writing.
Great?
Kanan and the Kane. Anyway,
You
Hold on, what
call
you
him
yeah,
say,
that
Woody
was
the
Tommy?
his
Great?
name. That was his
Woody
name.
McClain.
No. That was his name. Like from when I remember, I know his real name is Woody McLean, but his acting name
Oh,
or
okay.
pseudonym was Woody the Great. So,
That sounds like
Mhm.
Toy
um,
Story. I didn't know what you were saying. Okay.
got a friend
Oh
in me. Um, but yeah, I mean, he was there on Cam's show, and he was talking about an experience amongst other actors in a, I guess, training setting or some kind of teaching setting, maybe like a class or whatever.
my god. Yeah, I think it was
And
an improv acting class.
there we go. And he was saying that during they had him do an exercise where he turned his back to the crowd, he turned his back to the rest of the class, and the class was asked to give their opinions about who they think he is or what they think of him.
Mhm. I wonder what role he would play based on what they knew about him. I felt like was it? I could be wrong. I thought it was what role.
So what it was that because the role is all they knew of him, the roles are all they knew of him. Their opinion of him was overly negative as far as tough guy, bad guy, mean, so forth, so on.
Yeah, they were
And
like bad
he
boy too.
took
I felt like what
yeah,
role do
bad
you think he
boy.
would play? And they were like bad boy, robber, killer, and I'm just like,
Yeah, and he took
mm,
exception to it. Mind you, I'm mad paraphrasing and just zooming through the clip, y'all.
yeah.
I'll post it again tomorrow just so y'all have further clarity. But he took exception to it to the point where he spoke on now he has daughters, and he's being more selective of the roles he takes, because initially he was just taking roles to get on, but now that he's seen that these roles are painting a certain perception of him, he doesn't want his daughters to think of him that way, and if it impacted him to the point where he broke down, had to walk off the set, came
Mhm.
back, still could barely hold himself together, tears and all that. And just to be clear, this is definitely a podcast slash channel where we don't make fun of brothers crying. We don't do all that kind of business.
What's up?
Um, and I'm glad, I appreciate that Cam uh, gave him a space, and that gave him room to go through his emotions. To not make him feel bad about, to let him know, yeah, no, you good, you cool, you ain't got to apologize.
Yeah.
But I wanted to take that because what I saw in that was um, how black men are perceived and what that does to our mental health. And that's what we'll be talking about tonight. The perception
Yeah.
of, men, especially black men, and how that impacts our mental health.
Right.
So let's start off with a simple question as far as,
But before you get started, can I make one
okay,
point in that clip?
please.
I think it's imperative to also note that in that clip, they were initially asked for him to turn his back to the audience. So apparently, the way the clip was ran, they didn't know anything about him. So they was like, turn your back to the audience, and they're going to shout out what kind of role they think you play. He then turns around and
Okay.
introduces himself, and then they like, oh, and then all of the perceived role he should play changed to the opposite end of the spectrum. He was like, but damn, because y'all didn't even know me. Y'all
Mm,
was judging me, but now that I told y'all a little bit about myself, now it's a different story. And so that's when he proceeded to say how that made him feel. And that's when he got choked up and started saying, basically, I need a minute. Like, let me walk off. And definitely kudos to Cam Newton for holding space, staying silent in that moment and not making him feel awkward for getting emotional and having to walk off set. Because I know I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Sometimes men are horrible about that because they don't know how to handle their emotions. So when they see another male get emotional, it's like suck it up. You know what I'm saying? But Cam showed a lot of poise in how men should really make space for males going through an emotional moment and showing vulnerability. So shout out to Cam Newton for that. They can say what they want about him, but that gave me a lot more respect for him than I already had.
okay, so I agree with that, but okay.
I
Um,
mean, that's
Dang,
a
we,
Cam.
we
that's
all got
life.
different opinions. Yeah, we all got different opinions. We all got different
Yeah,
opinions.
so I
We all got
mean,
different opinions. But thank you for
again,
clarifying what actually
you a
happened in the
man,
clip.
so
Thank
yeah.
you, thank you for clarifying what happened in the clip, though. I appreciate that. You want to be as
Mm-hmm.
accurate as possible, so I appreciate
Mm-hmm.
you having my back on that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so the question I'd like to ask you ladies to start off with, right? Is Kind of like what happened with him. Let's When you see a black man that you don't know for the first time and you're introduced in the space with that person, what's the first things that come across your mind? We'll start off with Ty.
When I'm in a space, I'm
Yeah.
not sure I understand what you mean.
Yeah, I was
So
gonna say, what do you mean? What do you mean by in the space? Is it a group
so
setting,
so
or like
so
Yeah,
what?
let's
What do you
let's
want to
let's
between.
trigger?
say whether it's work or recreation, let's say it's a space where you've already consigned yourself to be for a period of time. Like it's not just walking down the street and a stranger go by. It's a place where
Oh,
you
okay.
know you're going to be for a certain amount of time. And now this black man has entered your space, whether he's somebody who's going to be working alongside you, or whether, like I said, it's recreation and he came over to eat the same grub that you eating, whatever it is, where fate would have it that you two are in the same space and you're going to be occupying the same space for a certain period of time because y'all both there for the same purpose. Like I said, uh be it work, recreation, maybe even a podcast particular space, somebody that you don't know and work you haven't seen. Um, so something to that nature. Better
Um,
yet, better yet, better yet. Here's one.
Well,
When y'all
so
first met me, when y'all first met me, what was the first thing? Give me your first impression without knowing me, without either one of you knowing me personally. What was your first impression?
well, when I first met you, it was at PyCon, and we all was just, kind of standing around, networking, socializing, exchanging. We all do podcasting and all of that. So,
Hmm.
um, it was familiarity because this is somebody else in Philly who does podcasting, who here at this event. You had your life be life in attire on, so right then and there, I knew you were serious about podcasting, or at least about your merch. Um, so yeah, that was my first impression. Was that y'all was
Okay.
cool because y'all weren't on some. How people in Philly sometimes they don't even want to talk to nobody from Philly. Like I ain't here for that. I ain't here for that. Whatever. But y'all were very inviting, very open, very respectful. Being as though I was the only female standing there, y'all were very
Hmm.
respectful. So yeah, that was my first impression.
Okay. Okay. Misha, I know we met under a much more personal setting, but go ahead and get your answer.
I didn't have a first impression, and that's the thing about me. If it's a setting like that, I don't have, like a first impression, right? Because I'm the type of person that's very observant. So I'm already coming into place, checking people out, seeing what's what, seeing who talking to who, see how you moving in conjunction with other people. So for me, I don't always judge the book by its cover. It takes me to observe you, have a conversation with you, see how you interact with other people, and then I'm just kind of like, yeah, not my type of person that I'm trying to deal with. And then there are some times where I've been like, oh yeah, I don't really like this person based on me watching their interaction with other people. And then I mess around and have a conversation with them and we align, we cool, we vibe. So I try not to make those assumptions. Now,
Okay.
if you think about it, going back to your original question, right? Because I can answer that question. You do
Okay.
see some of these young men, right, in certain spaces. All right, so I'm gonna use my nephew's graduation today. Um, Host a different type of people. I'm checking out how everybody dressed. And you see young males walk in, which I hate this term, but these little YNs, and you looking at them, you look like you just ready to rob somebody after the graduation. But
Mm,
whole time they are like the cool big brother. Like they making sure their younger sibling gets in line, and they're making sure the family gets the tickets. So if I was to go off of looks all the time, I'd probably be dead wrong about a lot of people. So I really try not to do that. However, I do feel people's energy, so I do watch how people move and vibe, and then that's kind of what I'm like, yeah, you look like you kind of on some shit that I don't want no part of, or you talk
Hmm.
to people crazy, I don't want to be bothered with that. So it's like I'm just an observant person, so I'm not gonna make too many assumptions off top before I make an observation first.
Okay. 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 So, okay. So let's roll with that. Let's roll with that. Let's roll with that. So after, so you're observing. So let's go with that. You're observing. You're peeping the situation. Whatever. Whatever. What did you pick up?
So as today, like I said, this young man coming, he tatted from neck down. He got the scully on, like it might as well have just been what do they call it, shiesty or whatever. It looked like he had like pulled it down around his neck. He's not even
Okay.
dressed like he going to a graduation. He literally got on like New Balance, some sweats, and a black tee.
Right.
But the whole time, him and his sibling like they hugging on each other. He holding the sibling, like carrying the sibling, and it's like he got flowers for the sibling. And it's just like, oh, okay, he actually cool. He just dressing like these area dudes because that's what the move is to look like everybody else in this area. And so going back to the whole thing with Woody, it was a looks thing. Like we look at you and we see this. And I think that is the main problem with a lot of society now. You will look at somebody and because they look like the type, and we can use the term, Woody is being typecast because
Hmm.
he looks apart. Now, most people be like, oh, just because he's black. Nah, like, if you kind of look at him, he look like he could be, like, playing them roles. Like, and you see how well he plays those roles. So it's like, why would I think you would play any other type of role because you play those roles so well? So a lot of people get typecast or stereotyped based on looks, and people don't know a damn thing about them. Because if I was on some negative shit, I could have stereotyped the young man today just because he had neck tats and hand tats, and he dressed like a typical, like again, I hate this term, YN. So yeah, it just was like that would have been a bad look for me to make the assumption, and we assume about people a lot. We be assuming wrong because you know what that means. You make an ass out of you and me. So I just stopped assuming about people because, yeah, you could be completely wrong. People look at me and think I'm 33 years old and I'm 44. So,
Okay. Low key humble brag. Um.
not low key.
Right, not low key at all. Um, the interesting part about what Mimi said is homeboy really could be a YN regardless.
He
He
could.
could very well be what
He
he looks
could.
like. Um, because again, like you said, perception isn't going to let you know the different size it is to a person. He might very well be a full blown stepper. Um,
Listen, he might pull that
he
shiesty up
might
at
be
the
one of
hip hop
those. You
and
know what I'm
be
saying?
outside. I don't know,
He might be one of those, but at the end of the day,
but
his
I've
love for the
also seen
sibling,
I've
the
also seen
love for
some
the
dudes that
sibling,
got the button
and
up on and they out here robbing people.
that's all I'm saying is that sometimes, yeah, a person might look as bad as they might behave as bad as they look.
Mm-hmm.
But that's still not even all there is, to that brother.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like there are guys we see, like you're clearly on the block. You're clearly on the block getting it, sir. Like I'm not making any assumption. I'm seeing what I'm seeing, but that doesn't
Oh
tell me all
yeah.
I need to know about you. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't tell me all I need to know about you. That doesn't tell me all that you are. That doesn't even tell me who you are. It's telling me what you're doing.
Yeah. And that's the big difference. Who you look like,
So
is not who you are.
more often than not, more often than not,
Yeah.
um, especially when you said that he was, looking like how the other ones look. It's like that brings to mind for me a question is that just you just being a little dick eater, or is it a situation where you know you feel like you have to because the environment you live in, you kind of maybe it's a bit of a get down or lay down situation. You
I
know what I'm
mean,
saying?
for this area, I would say so. I feel like if you dress anything other than the part is what I'm gonna call it, then you a weird ass nigga. Like that's how they treat you. They outcast you. And again, going back to Woody, it's like you look and dress a certain way based on our culture. And so now they see you
Mm.
and they think you are of that culture. And so I think that's what we need to start trying to change that narrative. Like it's okay to be different. You don't. I swear to God, every dude down here in DC dress the same. Just the same. They look the same. So like, do you have little middle schoolers that wear Nike Tech with shiesties all day? They're literally in middle school, but you see other people doing that and you think it's cool. So
Right.
now you're just dressing the part because you don't want to be set apart from a certain group of people. And it be your own people, but them
It
not the
be your
people you
own
want to be
people.
look. That's not the people you want to look like, honestly. And we don't have enough, you know, of the older generation, wanting to engage in the conversation to tell the younger generation, hey, look, that shit just ain't a good look. That is just not a good look. And I mean, I can tell you from experience, like talking to my goddaughter, I'm just like, bro, you are the most difficult person to talk to because you're intent on doing what you see everybody else do. You're intent on dressing like everybody else. You're intent on, being into the same stuff everybody else is. You don't have your own brain. You don't think on your own wavelength. Like you just want to do what everybody else do. So that's how a lot of, and she's a female, but that's how a lot of males first and foremost get put into the category of, oh yeah, you're a YN. Because now they run around here calling every little young
Every
male a YN. That's
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
but is
Tap
he
in,
a
Ty. Give
YN
us your
or is he just
thoughts.
stupid?
Right. Give us your thoughts, Ty. Tap in.
I'm not gonna lie. When I see a young man with a poo shiesty mask on, I automatically think they up to something. I
Yep,
just I'm on high alert immediately because I don't have time to figure out if you're wearing it for fashion or if you're wearing it because you getting ready to do something shiesty, which is
that's fair.
with the
That's
mask.
that's
Like
fair.
literally, and I feel bad about it sometimes because I'm like they may not, you know what I mean, be on that, but I also think that the young men have to be mindful of what people perceive anyone wearing a pooch icy mask is up to.
Because
I
it's all
mean,
about perception, right?
we've had a couple of
Yes.
incidents in Philly, lately with some violence occurring because people aren't even waiting to see what a young person is on. It's just like you look like you're on that, you're wearing that, you're saying this. I'm gonna
Yeah.
ask questions later.
Yeah.
And I mean, a lot of that is because of the attire. I'm not like one day I was going to the store and I get to the corner, I see four young men, all with masks on, right? And all black, getting out of a car. I said, nope, going back home.
I said no.
So I wait
Nope.
a little while
Nope.
and I
Go back
go,
home.
wait, I wait a little
Can't
while
fin do it.
and I go to the store, right? I wait a little while and I go to the store. I go to the store, they're in the store. I'm like, oh my God. They wasn't up to nothing. They was not up to nothing. They was literally in the store buying something. And I asked about the water ice, and one of them was like, "Oh, Miss, the water ice is over here." And I'm just like,
They be so
"But,
polite. they be
but
they
why do y'all want to look like y'all on dead presidents?
because they
Y'all
think
talking
it's
about why are y'all glorifying somebody
they think
in
it's
all black
cool.
with
The
masks on?
presidents.
They think it's
Yes,
cool and they don't realize the detriment that is, to them being followers and not learning to, lead yourself in a different direction because you want to look like everybody else. Now and see you say you getting back in your car. Nah, now I'm just gonna pull my crossbody to the front. I'm gonna make sure my pocket with my weapon is open, and you might be going home to meet Jesus later if you keep fucking with me like that. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, there have been incidents of
Going
violence
up
that have been
yonder.
unnecessary, because people have assumed that was the type time they was on. Well,
Mhm.
stop stereotyping yourself and you don't have to worry about them type of problems. And I don't know what the allure is for young black males to look and dress that part, but I think it's completely ridiculous at this point.
they want to look like Pooh Shiesty.
I mean, look what Pooh Shiesty at. So is that where you want to be?
Exactly.
I don't understand why you want to look like, dress like, move like, act like, think like, talk like anybody that is in that particular situation. Y'all, they idolize young Dirk, little Dirk, whatever, and look what he is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So it's like it kind of sucks because the role models they have are trash.
Yes.
And,
The
well,
people that are in, but
the crazy thing is, for example, Chris Cross. When Chris Cross wore their clothes backwards, most people was wearing their clothes backwards. So
Not
unfortunately,
lying.
this is their Chris Cross. This is their wearing the clothes backwards.
and
It's
again,
the match, right?
it's a
And
fashion
that's how
statement
they
for them.
see it. Right. That's how they
It
see it.
is.
They see it as I am just emulating somebody I'm a fan of, or I am just following, a fashion trend. The same way,
Yeah,
we did, some of us. I never wore my
hmm
clothes backwards, but
me neither.
I wasn't allowed to. Wasn't allowed to.
What my thing.
But the same way that people wore their clothes backwards because Chris Cross was doing it. That was dumb as hell, but people was doing it. Like, you know what I mean? So I think that's what some of the young men are following. They're, and just like with the dreads. Oh, little Dirk got dreads. We're gonna wear dreads. I think it's just, or another example when Jay Z was like, "We wearing button ups now," and people start wearing button ups on the jerseys. Like, it's always something. It's just unfortunate that the Pooh Shiesty mask is something that can have another meaning besides just being a trend.
Yeah, but at some point, button ups are never frowned upon.
Right. That's what I'm
Right.
saying.
They are banning you from wearing them in
Yeah. Yeah.
establishments. Like they
Yeah.
are saying, if we see you anywhere with one on, we're probably going to lock you up. Why
Yeah.
would you
Mm-hmm.
run that risk? Like
Yeah.
fashion is never worth that type of hassle to me.
No, I
Period.
agree.
Period. So I don't, I know a number of parents that have tried talking to their, sons in regards to those type of fashion statements they're making, and they got a million and one reasons why they do it. They don't they want to call their parents, "You're weird. Why is this a problem? You're being weird." You know it's gonna be weird when I have to bury your little ass because somebody put a bullet in your head
Not
because they
weird.
think
Mm-hmm.
you trying to
Then
rob
you
me.
left
That's gonna be
something.
weird for
Right.
me. When I
Right.
gotta
Right.
exercise my insurance policy on your little ass because I gotta bury you. And it's like parents need to start being honest with their kids. Like, hey, look, the mask is a no go because somebody gonna shoot your ass. Like, we have to start being very transparent and real with these YNs about the detriment that type of shit is to them. Or they're gonna keep running around here perpetuating the stereotype that young black males are nothing but trouble. They're criminals. They're up to no good. They don't have a bright future. They're not intelligent. And then that's when we get people like Woody the Great sitting on Cam Newton's couch in tears because he's experiencing that type of shit and he's not even that type of person. It's just
No.
assumed that every black male is like that.
All right. Yeah, no, y'all not lying. I also want to, piggyback off of what y'all saying in terms of, the look not being like you said. It's not button ups. It's not backwards jerseys. It's not 5XL tees and baggy jeans. Like, okay, sagging your pants was definitely a corny and annoying joint. The fact that people still doing it today still surprises me, but it's not the end of the world. Yes, it does make people look down on you, but it's not going to get you necessarily locked up in most places. Um, the shiesty thing, and as much as I am one that is against um, picking on cultural trends that pretty much just single out our black kids,
Right.
I'm definitely glad that establishments are banning shiesty wear.
Me too.
Like, I'm here for it. Take them off. I told a kid I was catching the bus a couple of months ago, and I told a kid to take his off. And normally I don't do too much speaking to other people's kids because I don't know who raising them or not.
Yeah,
But
that can be problematic too.
but I was like, yo, take that off. Like the crazy thing is he was trying to get it, I guess, just right and style it just right on his head and doing all this to try to make sure it fit right. I said, you about to get on the bus, bro. Take that off, man.
Yeah.
Like what you putting that on for?
And it'll be a
You
hundred
got a
degrees
you got a
outside. They
ball in
got
your
that shit
hand.
on.
You got a ball in your hand. You about to go hoop. Take that nonsense off. So then
And
he kind of just rolled it up and put it on his head like a Scully. And I and
that's
I and I'd
that's
rather
how
that.
Slim had it today. That's how Slim had it today. He had it rolled up.
And
I was
I'd rather
like,
y'all just go ahead and rock it like a Scully than to sit there and pull it over your face, whether you have it all the way pulled down or you got the gate where you can see your face and it's just wrapping around your head. Like
mm,
you look like you're coming out of a birth canal.
had a
I,
birth
I
tomorrow.
I just hate it, man. Because there's no upside. There's no upside to it.
Yeah.
Absolutely none. Like along with that, and in Philly, now everybody's carrying around these guns. And I don't mean real guns, I mean these toy guns. I think they're pressure guns or pellet guns.
Why would
Every
you do
kid
that?
is carrying them around. I don't know, Mish. It frustrates me to no end because at some point I realized that parents are participating in these kids getting them. Not all these kids just getting them, not all these kids' parents is absent and these kids getting money and getting it themselves. You got quite a few parents who literally go to the store with your kid. This kid says, hey, I want this gun that fires bullets. Can you get it for me? Yeah. And then buys it for their kid. And these kids just be walking down the street with it. See, if it was super soakers, right? And we really gonna be spraying it down, I'm here for it.
Right. That's fun. That's
If
fun
we're
game.
gonna have pellet wars, then I understand. If it's like the Nerf commercial where it's on site, you got your pellet guns, we got our pellet guns,
It's
and we
hurt.
just bah, 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 bah. If that's that, I don't think it's a great idea, but at least I understand what the point is because it's a competitive thing. It's a fun thing between kids. These kids don't even hardly be shooting this shit. They just sit there with it. They walk with it. They
They
wave it
don't.
around.
They're gonna get themselves killed with it. Is what's gonna happen.
That
'Cause
is
again,
exactly what's going to happen.
it's
And
gonna be
I am
somebody like
going to
me.
be the person when I see the post go up. It better not never be nobody on my timeline because if I see the post go up, you're going to delete me. You're going to report me because I'm hopping on your post to say, your fault, your fault.
I'm
I
I'm I'm
saw
gonna
your kid
be there.
walking down the ave with that the other day. This is your fault. Stupid. No, I won't contribute to your GoFundMe. No, I won't send up prayers. No, no, no tears, no nothing. I'm not coming to the balloon release. Absolutely not.
No candlelight vigil. No none of that.
No, none of that. No, no, you're not even getting an RIP tag on my joint. No, your fault. You deal with the loss. Go ahead, cry, suffer. You deserve to. Because at what point did you decide that made any sense for your kid to walk around with a replica of a weapon?
So you are a sensible parent. Let me tell you about these parents of this current generation. And of
Lord,
course, you are of that generation because your son is a teenager, right?
yeah.
But you are different because of how you were raised. But a lot of these other parents, they want to be their kid's little friend.
What's
They
even
want
worse, Mish, is some of these parents is knuckleheads too.
you. So I was about to say, some of these daddies are still YNs. They still want to be
The
YNs.
moms.
Yeah, you did. Let me finish. Some of these moms still want to be hot girls, city girls, hood girls, project bitches. Like they still want to live that life. And don't get me wrong, I still listen to my little ratchet music, and I might do hood rat things with my hood rat friends. But nigga, I got a clearance, and I'm 44 years old, and I got nieces and nephews looking at me. And when my niece got out of my car singing fucking Super Gremlin, I was like, okay, I got to get my life together because it wasn't even that loud if she heard the music. And I just was like, at some point, you have to say, I have to grow up and show the children in my life. the youth in my life something better, like something different. Let them know, like, I mean, sometimes that stuff is cute and it's cool, but sometimes that shit'll get you murked too. So you might be wanting to rethink how you moving out here because the times are different. The times
Yeah,
are different. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? There are more people carrying guns now than ever before for no
facts.
reason. You know, what I'm saying? I just got to the point where I started to feel like I don't have to carry my gun everywhere with me, right? It's like I'm here at my sister's house, so I was like, all right, they don't have a lock. I done got sensible. I used to just leave it in my bag. They don't have a lockbox. My nephew's getting older. He's smarter. He's more inquisitive. I'm gonna go ahead and leave it at home. Nothing's happening to me out here one stop from Wakanda. I'm cool on that. Like we good. So, and my brother-in-law probably got something. I don't know. Like I never asked because I don't typically ask people those questions when they're home. But
Right.
yeah, I just done got to the point where it's like, unless I'm going somewhere where I feel like that's a necessity, I just leave it at home because there's so much of that activity and that motion in the city to where I will fuck around and shoot you because I am fearing for my life. So before I lay somebody's kid out, I'm gonna just go ahead and just move on about. So, but I
Mhm.
mean, back to the
And
top of the two, shooting the three. This is why black males have such a hard time getting through in life because these, generations are passing down this detriment, is what I'm gonna keep calling it, which keeps people getting stereotyped. Like,
yeah,
and we'll never be able to escape it as long as someone doesn't break the cycle. So
okay. So y'all both are not people who jump to conclusions. Great for y'all. Appreciate that. Um, so let me ask a question because sometimes, me personally, I don't have the best perception. Like off first rip, a lot of times
mm,
I'm not perceived all that great. Um, so we're two people who know me, close to me, whatever, whatever. I know I'm not the only special black man in your life. So I ask, has there ever been a time that y'all as black women had to defend a black man because the perception of him was being held against him in a negative light, and y'all had to step in and be like, hey, this ain't that.
I'm only quiet so Tyus
Quiet
can
as
go.
hell.
I'm
Come
only
on,
quiet so
Ty.
Tyus can
No,
go.
no, I'm only talking about Ty. What's
I'm
going
being a
on, Ty?
gracious host.
As we should.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of a time. I mean, it's quite a few times, but I'm trying to think of one. Um,
Because I could, because I ain't trying to
because I'm
disrespect
always
none
defending
of the women
somebody.
in my life, but I can honestly say it hasn't happened for me often.
So what hasn't happened? They haven't had to defend you or defended you.
Oh no, no, I've needed defense. Well, I won't say needed because at the end of the day, I'm still gonna move how I move. But there was times where yes, a woman could have stepped in on my behalf to defend me, this regardless of whatever the perception is. But most times it don't happen. Shout out to the sponsor of the
Yeah,
podcast though, because Keish definitely did it on a
I mean,
particular occasion where
So are you
because
meaning
of
from
how
other
people
people?
perceive me. Yeah, 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 yeah. Because the perception against me was being held against me in a negative way, to where um it actually ended up impacting a career situation later on down the line. But because of the perception, and then people in this space, talking about this shared perception of me as to why, oh, this is why, we're gonna exclude him from this and so forth and so on. And she overheard it and she's like, she stepped in and was basically like, yeah, no, that's not true. It's like, he doesn't talk to anybody. He's just rude. And she's like, that's my friend. We talk every day.
So for me, I have a
Have you ever
professional.
tried? Have you ever tried actually just saying good morning to him? There's not a single person who's ever said good morning to him and he doesn't repeat it back. Y'all complaining that he doesn't say good morning. Have you said good morning to him?
Yeah,
You know what I'm
that
saying? So just something that's I'm not expecting, full blown cake. Like, hey, watch how you talking about that black man. Like, I ain't talking like necessarily that, but just in terms of
No,
where
I've definitely,
something like that has had to happen because those rooms that we don't even be
yeah,
in,
absolutely.
and our perception is being held against us in rooms we're not even in. And nine times
mm,
out of 10, I know my boys do it. Like I got way more stories of homeboys doing it, homeboys having to check somebody than women. And I'm not knocking women. I'm just asking because I have two women here from y'all
well,
experience.
No, I've absolutely done it a lot of times. I'm just
yeah.
trying to think of
So
a story,
I
but
have
I've definitely
two.
done it plenty of
I have
times.
one professional, one personal.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a coworker, and I don't do the cool with my coworkers type shit, right?
Hmm.
But there is this one. So what it is I'm always protecting black people, period. But um, so
Respect.
I am
That's
like
right.
work besties with two females that I worked with for a very long time. I mean, since like 2009, right?
Mhm.
Um, one so much so that we have community in regards to our situations and our relationship, right? So I call them my work besties. Now we had a male join the fold back in 2012, I think it was, because it was like a year after I got married, and he's a Marine. So, he's very rigid and structured and just like very straightforward and just like he doesn't mince words and he's kind of short with you and really didn't talk to a lot of people. But because we sat, the three black people sat in the corner in the back in the like little cube area, we got to know him. And it was off me because, I'm always on joke time. I'm going to watch, look, listen, and learn. And I would always overhear him going back and forth with his wife. And I jokingly said to him one day, I sure hope my husband don't feel like that when I call him at work with a complaint or, a minor, indiscretion. He was like, no, he was like, I was wondering if you guys were listening to my conversation. So we ended up becoming tight, inviting him to lunch with us, like taking walks and, hitting the gym, and, that kind of shit. So I will distinctly remember someone talking mad shit about him. And I was like, what y'all not gonna do is that. Y'all don't know that man. That man is he cool. He just don't put up with y'all bullshit. And y'all don't like that he good at his job and will call y'all out about shit that y'all not doing as it pertains to the work that he has to do. I was like, but don't make it seem like he no weird ass nigga because he is a structured ass Marine who don't play about his work. And he's not very social because y'all sit around here not doing no work, running y'all mouth at everybody desk all day long. Us niggas is working. Y'all ain't. And so they was just like, oh. And then so after that, now everybody wants to converse with this coworker because I made it super awkward for them because I was like, y'all don't talk to him because he's the only black male here. Y'all made an assumption because he's very quiet. Like he comes off very quiet and meek and like, very easy to push over until I would say it's the passive aggressive thing, right? So that was that time. Like I was like, yeah, you're not about to talk about homeboy like this. Like he cool. Like leave him the fuck alone. He cool. Don't let me hear y'all talking about him no damn more. And it was actually like leadership. And they didn't want to give him a project because he wasn't social. I was like, since when did our job call for us to be social with you motherfuckers? Y'all are weird. Nobody wants to tell you. See, the problem was because he don't tell his business. And they used to people telling all their business. So, he has a son that has diabetes, like childhood diabetes. So they wanted to know why he always got to rush out of here. Why this, why that. Don't y'all just mind your business? Is his work getting done though? Like, so I had to defend him. And they were just like, yeah, you really don't play. And no, I don't. Like, y'all not going to do that. That man not here to defend himself, so don't do that. So for me, I think it was just like they talking shit about somebody who's not here to defend himself, but it just so happened to be because he the only black male. And he hang with all the females. So they were trying to, make it something it wasn't. Um, and then personally,
Being the
you,
only male around a bunch of females at work is
it,
always going to cost you.
it's
It's
always
always
gonna be
going
a
to grant
problem.
you the ire of the other coworkers. The
Yeah,
males are going to hate you because they think you getting yams that you're not. The women are going to hate you because they not among those women that you do talk to.
Yeah,
It's always going to work against you for no
yeah,
good reason. But
yeah.
go ahead,
So,
my bad. I just had to throw that
no,
part in.
you good, no,
That's my pain, my
cause you right,
struggle.
cause you right though. And then the other one was with my husband when we got pulled over by the police. They literally stereotyped him. You know, my husband had just started like growing his hair out, and he had the whole beard thing going on. And of course, he just came back, R&R. So like he was driving his truck, kind of flashy, dressed up. Because when you over there, you dress bummy. So they just automatically thought he was on some, drug dealer type shit. And me and my mother had to like, I mean, when I tell you like they cut us off at the exit to get on the highway, surrounded us with vehicles, like had guns out. And I was like, yeah, that ain't this and this ain't that. I was like, run that man name and social security number. Y'all really gonna be upset. As soon as he handed them a certain ID, after me and my mother made all this fuss, they was like, oh, we sorry. You got it. And I was like, I need all y'all motherfucking badge numbers. Reported all of their asses. Talking about when he fit the description of somebody we looking for. Who? I want to know who. Because you could tell he was like shaking up. Because, he don't encounter no shit like that. Meanwhile, they got guns out. Me and my mother like, what the fuck is this all about? Why y'all, what is all of this for? We going crazy. And he just sitting there scared for his life. And I could see he was scared for his life. Because he just knew if it wasn't for us stepping up and saying something, he would have either been dead or in jail. But it takes a certain type of individual for women to do that. You have to be a very fearless individual. And I'm not going to just say woman. You have to be a fearless individual to stick up for somebody, whether you know them or not. Because a lot of times, especially when it comes to a man, a lot of women don't stick up for men in that capacity because they don't, men don't want to feel like a woman doing my dirty work, a woman handling my business, a woman is taking care of shit, in place of me. So a lot of times women do take the back seat on that. And I ain't gonna lie, there's been a couple of times where, and that was just the one that was stood out the most because it was probably the most egregious one. But, where somebody being rude and
Myron, what's
disrespectful,
good, bro?
and I had to be like, hey, yo, like, why are you talking to my husband crazy? Like, I will slap you in your face. Like, you ain't got to worry about him slapping you. I'm going to fucking slap you. And then it made Art uncomfortable because he, like, he doesn't like confrontation. But I'm a confrontational ass motherfucker. So when he told me that makes him uncomfortable, so then I was like, oh, all right. If you don't green like me, then you got it, homie. Yeah, I ain't gonna say nothing else. So it's like it started to feel like you damned if you do and you damned if you don't. And I don't know, Ty, you could tell me if I'm wrong, but a lot of women feel like that with men. Like I ain't trying to say nothing because I don't want him to look like less than a man. I don't want to speak for that man. I don't want to say nothing, for that man. I don't want to defend that man because he could defend himself. He a man, which goes to another issue that we have in society about how men are treated, right? But as for me, I'm sticking up for anybody. I don't right, wrong, and different. If you my slime, I fuck with you the long way, and I feel like somebody trying to handle you wrong, I'm gonna step up and say something, regardless. But that's me. I'm different. I will go toe to toe with Jesus if I have to about something. That's just where I am with that. But I feel like that's a lot of women's issue with it. They just don't feel comfortable. They just don't feel comfortable at all.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I don't expect. Truth be told, it's something I don't even expect. You know what I'm saying? And again, this is we not that kind of podcast. I'm not taking no pot shots at no women. But
No, but I mean, the fact
it's
that
just
you say
something I
that is
genuinely
sad.
don't expect it. I don't
I,
expect a woman to stand in the gap for me that doesn't know, especially if she's not like attached to me. Like my friends, I think my friends are going to do it. Usually, I pick friends with that kind of character level that would. But
nah,
as far as like somebody who observe and is like locked in with me like that, no, I don't expect that from that woman. She got her own issues. Um, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It might not
nah.
be beneficial for her. The risk might not outweigh, You know what I mean? The risk might outweigh
I'm not gonna
the
reward
reward
it.
for her.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is. So I don't expect it. I can say though, I can say, even though I haven't received it much, I can say I've seen it a couple of times. So, shout out to those ones. But I've seen it a couple of times where, you know, um, I've seen a woman step up and be like, no, that's not what happened. That's not
I
how it's going.
I stay
You know what
down.
I'm saying? With cops, I saw a woman's, because they was getting ready to railroad this dude because Shorty was trying to make it seem like it was getting domestic and it was his fault. Whole time I had observed the whole thing, she slapped him. She straight slapped the bull. So I'm sitting there yelling from across the street, yo, dip, go, like leave, bro, leave, 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 leave. Like to the point where I'm literally like waving like I'm trying to signal a plane, telling the boy, like, come
Yeah,
on. Come on. Come on, bro. Come on. Don't stay with this. Don't stay with this. But he was locked in with the situation and he didn't leave. So I just kept like, all right, man, that's the most I can do for you. Like I'm
yeah,
literally like telling you, like, Slavy, I don't care if I gotta get you something to eat to get you up out this situation, some drink, something to take your mind off. Just walk around the block with me one time, whatever it
yeah.
is. But because once she smacks you, there's it can't
Nah,
get better from there.
you gotta
It
walk
can't
off.
get better from there. So
You gotta walk
he's sitting
off.
there yelling at her, and she done went ahead and must have called the cops on the low or whatever, because
That's
nobody
another
else
thing
had
I
called
have
the
a problem
cops
with.
on him. Nobody else had called the cops on him.
Yeah, I don't like that. Don't do that. But
So
again,
I'm
that's
sitting there like, where did the cops even come from? But they're asking her, and that's when I realized she must have called them on the
calling the
low.
cops. Yeah, like that's
So,
crazy.
you know what I mean? He's sitting there, the cops getting with him. He's like, yo, y'all don't even know what happened. Y'all just immediately coming over here. And I could see one cop getting kind of brolic with him or whatever. So I'm sitting there like yelling like to the cops, listen to him, listen to him.
The perception, the perceived
The
perception.
perception,
And
yeah.
that's what it is. And we need to
That we're
change
the
it.
offenders,
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
always.
That we got, that's how we treat our women, mistreat our women. That's
Yep.
how we mistreat our women. So it
That's how it
was
goes.
another young lady who I didn't even realize was sitting in her car. She had tinted windows. She came out the car, went over to the officers. She said, that's not even what happened. This girl hit him. And the moment he started to walk away, she walked back up to him and she started yelling and pointing in his face. And whoever called the cops wanted to see him get in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how it always goes. And it's like again, it goes back to the you damn if you do, you damn if you don't, because you got to know when you're dealing with these type of individuals, right?
Yeah,
Like I say all the time, oh yeah, I ain't fucking with that motherfucker because they the type like I be like, man, I slapped the shit out that bitch, but she the type of motherfucker to call the police on me. Like I be saying shit like that. Like you gotta when we always
that's
say
real.
KYP, you know what I'm
Know
saying?
your
Because
personnel.
you gonna know, and then there's been times where it's like yeah, nah, that's not worth it. You might want to go ahead and leave that alone. That ain't what you want. Just chill. I mean, I know I done had to tell my brothers a time or two, like, yeah, nah, that ain't this ain't that. Don't do that. Like, and I done had to tell some of the females they messing with, like, go ahead, shawty. Like, that's my little brother. We not even about to do that. Like, you might want to go on about your business. Cause if he ain't gonna slap you, I will. Don't bring that this way. And I guess that's kind of the protection because you already know like where that's gonna lead and land
Yeah,
that young male. Um, but at the same time, it's like these young males gotta start making better decisions. Young females too, honestly.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Because that type of shit
Absolutely.
again is what perpetuates, the way they see us and look at us. I mean, and again, like the shit that they see on TV don't make it no better.
It does. It doesn't. It does not.
The
I'm
music, the
hope
music don't make
the
it no
music
better.
doesn't make it any
You
better.
know,
The TV shows, the movies, none of it. None of it. None of it. The depiction of black men and black women in popular media is horrible and has been
it's
that way
terrible. It's
for
terrible.
years, at least a couple of decades now, where it's just been piss poor.
I
Like
mean, just
Like it's one thing. It's one thing when we was growing up, right? You had NWA, but you also had KRS-One. You know what I'm saying?
And so that when I said when I was like looking off thinking, I was thinking about so okay, because every black male is a drug dealer, right?
Right.
So say, right? So you got Scarface, and that was my movie. That was my shit growing up. I knew every little word to that movie. My father probably should be
Factual.
beat for letting me watch that shit at such a young age, and I still know
Well,
all the
then
words. Every
line
time,
him and all the rest of the adults up that let us watch this shit at that age.
but pen that right because pen that. But then you got
Okay.
New Jack City, same fucking difference, except you got the Miami Hispanic
You already know.
culture,
Yep.
and then you got the New York upstate niggas, drug dealers, gang bangers, like big time coke dealers, drug dealers.
And Nino was right because it's bigger than Nino Brown.
And there you have it. So it's like Scarface is the top tier, and then the New Jack City shit is underneath that. That's the push through that pipeline, right? But nobody ever wants to talk about that. But you
Nope.
see how nobody
Scarface,
looks
the
at
Godfather, motherfuckers are revered.
people love
Revered.
that shit. They like, God, them niggas was gangsters. Oh, them niggas, them monkeys, them drug dealers, them losers. Oh, okay. So what's the difference? All of them poisoning the community only because they
Facts.
black and it's a bad look, right? And then it doesn't help that they make it so like those movies are made to be the flashy drug dealers.
Of
You
course.
know, riding in the Jeeps with the booming systems, the jewelry, you know what I'm
Come on now.
saying? The
Come on
clothes, like
now.
you're
There's
paid
a
in
lot
full,
of
the
boys that wanted to be
car,
CMB. Oh my God. Come on
the
now. Ooh,
car, like
come
paid in
on
full.
now.
Like it's so
Money
many,
making
like
Mitch.
yes, like that's why I wonder people ever realize where I got that from. My book, baby, I ain't got it.
Yeah.
Like, but if you look at the correlation between, a Scarface type movie and Godfather, and New Jack City, and what's another one? Come on, Ari, give me another one because my brain is on low load.
Um,
Another good drug dealing money movie.
Another good drug dealer
Simultaneously,
movie. You
that I feel
said,
like it really depicted the culture of the crack culture, like
yeah, even
uh
American Gangster.
American Game. I mean, if you think about like the boyhood and the Minister Society shit, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You have movies on that side of the spectrum that are the same type of movie, but because it's niggas,
Yeah.
it's like that's how all y'all niggas are. But don't nobody say that's how all white people be.
Okay.
Oh, so we the
Why,
only
why
ones
y'all didn't
that
think all Cubans was like that? Why y'all didn't think all Italians was like that? And truth be told, you know what? Truth be told, Italians did have a bad rap for a while.
they
Italians
did.
did have a bad rap for a while, but they was able to outlast that.
But you know what?
And it was
They got legit
specifically
businesses.
Italians. It wasn't
But they
even
have
just white people.
yeah, but they have legit businesses that they use as cover ups.
You know it.
Black people pushing drugs didn't really have legit businesses
No, because you
used as
couldn't
cover
afford
ups.
to. That was the point of pushing drugs.
Exactly. Exactly. So, I do think going back to what we were saying in the initial conversation about these young, YNs dressing the part of what they see from these music videos and these rappers that, they see online, whatever they post, because now the new media is Instagram, TikTok, right?
For sure.
That's the new media. For us, it was movies.
Yeah.
It was movies. You know what I'm saying? That was the
Yeah.
media for us. So what
Yep.
they're saying online is what they're depicting. But back in the day, we were watching movies thinking that was real life, and it wasn't. Well,
For
it,
sure.
it was,
It
but
was it wasn't it wasn't
that wasn't the
everybody's.
life. That wasn't the life we were supposed to be living and aspiring to, and
Right.
emulating. And that's the problem. These young males keep emulating this new age shit that they really not built for. And, you know, I feel like it be our own people just continuing to push that type of media in movies and TV shows and music. Because why? Why are we still why are we still making that the narrative? Why is that what all of the shows are based around? Why is that the music we listen to? These niggas talk about the same thing in music. None of them are original. None of them are talking about anything different than the other one.
No, they're not even trying now. They're not even trying.
I mean, no, it's like so Ghost,
It's formulaic.
you a drug dealer turned clean, and then your son want to go to college and be a drug dealer.
It's
Make it
ridiculous.
make it make sense.
Perfect segue. Perfect segue. And the timing is immaculate because,
Can
yep,
y'all
We can
see
see
we
me?
you.
see you and we hear you.
Oh, okay. Because it keeps saying 32%. I don't know what's going on.
Probably loading.
Yeah, it's probably low in your prior one from when you
Y'all can
clicked
hear
out.
me too, right?
Yes, man.
Okay.
Um, so Ty and I had a side conversation out of a post that she had. You know what I'm saying? As y'all, a lot of y'all might know that Tyler Perry movie Straw dropped. Um,
Yep.
hold on, because I'm hearing feedback. Ty, do me a quick favor. Go ahead, exit the app, then come back and make sure that your echo cancellation is on.
My what?
Echo cancellation.
How I do that?
It's on the side when you first come back on.
It depends
It
on what
should be
type of
to the
app
right.
you're using.
That's true. Damn.
Yeah, because like I'm on my phone today, and that's not the option. But when I'm home on my laptop, when you enter through an actual link in a web browser, you can do that.
You got
Oh, no, cleared up.
earbuds or
It,
headphones?
it cleared up. I don't hear it no more.
Oh yeah, I don't hear no more. All right, never
Oh,
mind.
but
We good.
she muted. So let's see if we'll see when she unmutes. But go ahead with
Yeah.
your question.
So me and Ty were talking. She was talking about Straw, and it's Tyler Perry production. And one of the things that she mentioned, because I'm sure what people are raving about it and other people are complaining. She said that if you watch Power, you can't be coming with the narrative that Tyler Perry just makes black trauma, content. So here I come, not minding my own business because I didn't watch Straw and I haven't watched a Tyler Perry movie in years. I said, I get where she's going with the Power comparison. I just slightly disagree because of how Tyler Perry typically portrays black men in his movies. And not even all black men, but it's always a black male villain. And I won't say always, but good 90% of the time, there's going to be a black male villain in his movies. And I don't know why more often than not they dark skinned, but they are. Um, Nonetheless, it since she's mentioned Power, it's a perfect blend of the conversation because we were just talking about Woody McClain, who is on Power. So, Saya, bring into focus how you feel, especially because he literally gave his explanation of how playing such a role affected his perception. Since you was the one who mentioned Power as the comparison, go ahead and get further into why you said what you said.
All right. Can y'all hear me or was it echo?
You can
We
hear
can
you
hear
now.
you.
Okay. So why I said what I said is because there is not one positive image on any of the Power series. They kill dads off all the time. Everybody dad gets killed off. The moms are drug dealers or cheating or conniving or killing people or killing the dads. You know what I'm saying? There's not one single positive depiction at all, right? As far as Tyler Perry, he does at least at times have some positive males in his movies. There's nothing positive about the males on power, right? And I find it strange that people who sit and watch all of the power shows have so much smoke for Tyler Perry, and the argument is that he makes us look bad. Well, power, we're killing people, we're selling drugs, we're shooting kids, we're shooting witnesses, and kids are in college killing professors. Like, there's nothing positive at all, right? And we're comparing that to a mean husband or a mean father or something to that effect. Because most of the time, Tyler Perry don't have people killing people in his movies. You know what I
They're just a
mean?
bunch of assholes.
Right. It's just a bunch of assholes. You know what I'm saying? I also say that to say you always have to look at who's behind stuff. So if you know Tyler Perry's story, he writes from his own trauma, right? His father, well, it's not his real father. If y'all didn't know, he found out it's not his real father. His mom
Mhm.
made him believe it was his dad, and
Yeah.
that's why this man was abusing him all his life because he was mad. You're not really my kid, and I got to take care of you, and you're a reminder of what your mom did. But anyway, his father is dark skinned, so that may lend to why a lot of times the villains is dark skinned because he's writing from a place of trauma, and this is what he sees when he's writing, right? So when people are like, "Oh, his stories always involve trauma and struggle," well, as an artist, he writes from the part of his brain of what he has experienced. This is how he channels it. Now, this is out of his own mouth. This is from his documentary, right? And I get it. I always tell people my only issue with Tyler Perry is he do too much. I don't have a problem with showing, mental health or what happens in
Yeah.
divorce or domestic violence or any of that, but he always goes just a little too far. For example, in Temptation, you had to make the guy, you had to make her say, "Oh, it's not my fault your mom left you in a crack house." Like, what? Why? Right? And then you have to make him turn around and have AIDS and gave it to Brandy and now he gave it to her. Like, it's like you can tell this story without impounding the trauma. That's my issue with Tyler Perry. It's not the stories per se. It's not the perception. It's like, yo, you
Yeah.
don't gotta do so much here. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
and actually, one time I actually went through all Tyler Perry's movies, right? Because people always like, he always make black men look bad. In every Tyler Perry movie, there's a male villain and there's a female villain. It's never just a male villain. It's always both. Family That Prays, Sanaa Lathan is the villain. It's not a black villain in the Family That Prays. Not a black male villain in the Family That Prays. The villain was Sanaa Lathan. Daddy's Little
Right.
Girls. The mom is
Was
the
the
villain.
villain?
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I get it. When you see some, quite a few times, people get this narrative about them or whatever. But if you actually go through the movies, this whole he only want to make black men look bad, it's not a good narrative. Because I'm going to tell you, he also got a problem with female lawyers. I don't know what that's about, but there always are bitches in all his movies and TV shows, right? So I
Yeah.
think, like I said in the beginning, a lot of it is his own trauma that he is portraying in his art form and putting it in his movies and TV shows. I don't like all of them. Some of them I like, some of them I don't. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But that's my issue with him. And the other issue, lastly, is that he doesn't have a writer's room. So that's the other issue, right? So those things I'm mentioning, if we sitting around the table and we look at the script, it's like, hey, Tyler, you don't got to make him have AIDS. You can take that part out. But it's just him. So he's not taking it out because he wants it in there. But there's nobody to say, Tyler, take that out.
Pause.
Not really. Jesus Christ. Y'all this Paul shit.
I'm done.
So I don't watch a lot of Tyler Perry movies, but I was compelled to watch Strong. And it's funny because I was having a conversation with my sister about it before she left, and she agreed with you, Taya. Tyler Perry needs to start collaborating with some other writers in regards to his movies because he does lay the trauma on too thick. She's like, it's a lot of overacting. She was like, there was nothing about that movie that moved her or compelled her to cry. And this is a black woman with two children who have definitely had struggles. And I'm just going to leave it at that, right? Meanwhile, me, a black woman with not a goddamn single kid that I have birthed, I was in that joint like, don't cry, don't cry. Oh my God, I need tissue. Because I was like, yo, this is like really what a lot of women struggle with that have to do this single mom thing. No, I was telling
Right.
my sister, I was like, because I can imagine that's how like my brother's baby mothers felt when she's had conversation with me. I just feel like I have to do everything by myself.
Right.
We go to the well, you kind of put yourself in this situation, and you think back to old girl. You slept with dude to put yourself in this situation, so nobody's obligated to help you. So there's that you did it to yourself situation, right? And so people was like, I don't want to deal with that. And I feel like a lot of men have issues with Tyler Perry's movies because if you look at the men that are the villains, they're your everyday regular ass niggas, and they look just like them. And this is shit that a lot of the shit that the Tyler Perry be putting out there about men in his movies and them being the villain is everyday regular nigga shit. And I think men are tired of that being put to the forefront. Stop doing shit then. I've said it plenty of times before. Stop doing shit that you don't want me to have something to talk about.
But they watch Power.
And again, you had probably dropped when Nabria and I were talking about this. That shit is highly glorified because we know that's not reality. Every black male ain't selling drugs. Every black male ain't, living a paid in full New Jack City lifestyle. They not menace to society. They not, boys in the hood. So that for them, that fantasy world is like, oh shit, like it's fun to watch on TV, but it's not fun to watch your particular reality play out on TV. It's not fun to know like, damn, he cheating on his wife with a side bitch as his secretary at the office, and he whipping her ass. That's a reality for a lot of black men. Shit, a lot of white men too. Actually, more white men than black men. But you know, so I think that's why a lot of men have issues with Tyler Perry. My issue with Tyler Perry is your movie started to get redundant. The acting is exaggerated. Like you said, Ty, you leave no room for anticipation because you just drop everything in our lap. Like, bro, in Straw, it was just kind of like, God damn, all this happened in like 24 hours.
Well,
That's a hella bad day right there.
it kind of reminded me of Falling Down with Michael Douglas, though. That's the first thing I thought of when I watched it. Then the second thing is John Q. But I
Yeah,
definitely
I'm
thought
gonna
of
take John
Falling.
Q.
I definitely thought of Falling Down because remember, everybody was just pissing. It was just a bad day. Everybody was pissing him off, and then he finally snaps.
Yep,
You know what I
yep.
mean? Which that's one of my favorite movies that I understand much more as an adult. As a kid, I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with them? They don't got breakfast. They don't got breakfast. But I get it. When you mad
Again,
and shit is building up,
when
something small like that will piss you off.
when
Oh,
your
I can't get.
reality
It's
started
11
to play
o'clock.
out on
I can't get breakfast. I want breakfast. No, sir. We start serving lunch at 11. It's 10:59. I want breakfast.
I want breakfast, motherfucker.
So, I mean, it be like that sometimes. It be like that. So,
Yeah, and I think this is why I don't watch a lot of TV, right? Like my niece and nephew was just like, Mimi, have you seen this? Mimi, have you seen? No, I don't watch TV. People asking me about shows. I don't know what's going on with show. I stopped watching reality TV years
I
ago,
did too.
and I do mean years ago because it's brain rot. And I got tired of seeing how people being depicted crazy because a lot of that shit, although it's supposed to be reality TV, is scripted, and it's a bad look for us. Like I don't live my life like that, so I don't want to watch that shit on TV. That shit was cool at one point when I was like, oh, this is entertaining to watch, but now it's not entertaining. It's
Yeah, I don't.
embarrassing.
I gave it up this year. I was watching because the only one I had left was Real Housewives of Atlanta. I still was
I,
watching that, but
that
now
used to be
even
my
that
shit.
just went to.
Yeah, like I'm
It's
following the
insane,
drama
right? That
about
I'm
Drew
watching women
Fedor.
my age act like they 25. Like y'all arguing over the dumbest
Dumb
things
as
or
shit.
jealous of each other. You know what I mean? Friendships is breaking up because you mad that I got a husband and you don't, and I'm just like, I can't watch this no more. This is
It's the weirdest shit
unbelievable, and
ever. I don't.
it's
I don't want to
bad.
be bothered
It's
with
bad.
this. So, and I tend to believe people will gravitate to those type of things because they're miserable, and it's like that type of
No, I
entertainment.
won't say that. The most
Mm,
people I know that watch these
mm,
shows are people who don't live like that in real life, and I think they find it entertaining because they don't have any drama. I know that was it for me. I've never lived like that at all. I just found it entertaining. Like I
no,
like to watch their
so that's what I was
clothes
trying to
or
say. They're miserable and they like the entertainment of it.
yeah,
Yeah, so it's like, no, I don't. I have better things to do. I don't want to watch that shit. Like it was funny 5 to 7 years ago. That shit's
yeah,
not funny to me anymore. But
right,
I've also gotten older and grown up. Because back in the day, I might have been throwing a drink on somebody. Like I
right,
was wild, But now I would never do something like that to nobody.
right.
I'm a lot more regulated these days. So it's like, no, this shit is not real. Who is doing this? And a lot of what we're seeing on TV, people need to come to grips with. It's
Yeah, these
not
women are almost
reality.
50. Like Jen and Evelyn, Evelyn's a grandma now. Like they almost 50. Why are y'all still in these shows fighting and throwing drinks
I,
at each other? Like it's just
I
wild.
mean, and what her daughter saw on TV is what she's emulating and playing out in her life by
Right.
doing the whole marrying or having a baby with the rapper and trying to
With the
live that
gang,
life.
yeah.
And yeah, like you fucked up. You didn't teach your daughter the game properly. You
No,
you
she
you
did
taught
teach her the
her.
game. Just not the game we think she should have taught her.
That's what I'm saying. You didn't teach her the game properly. You didn't teach her the proper game. You didn't teach her how to
The
play the
game
game
is to
right.
have a baby by somebody, have a baby by me, baby, be a
The
millionaire. That was
millionaire,
the game, and
but he
that's what she
wasn't a
did. That's
millionaire.
what her daughter
Like
did.
he got to give up his millionaire mansion. Like no, but
She got a
again,
baby
all
father in 3 sports. You know what I'm
exactly. She making
talking
money, hand over
about?
fist for sure. And so it's like you trying to use TV to teach your kids how to live, and it's backfiring. Like TV is backfiring on a lot of us at this point. Music is backfiring on life for a lot of us. That's why I don't listen to it a lot no more. I don't watch TV pretty much at all. Like I'm in my sister's house. I start watching Ginny and Georgia. Okay,
Well,
like
I've been having this argument for years, right? There's something within people who can't separate entertainment from reality, and that's the real
yes,
issue. Because I can watch anything and not emulate it.
and be
You can
removed
watch
from it.
anything and not emulate it. My daughter listens to all this stuff, and she's a college grad and a teacher. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, there's something in certain people mentally that does not allow them to separate entertainment from reality.
Yeah, and I started to
Because there's a
wonder if
reason
it's
why it affects them, but it don't affect you. It's a reason why
yeah,
you look at Pooh Shiesty and say, I ain't putting that mask on, but somebody else will look at him and do the same thing. That's something that's already in that person. And if
I
they wasn't
mean,
following that, they'd be following something else or doing
yeah,
something else. You know what I'm
it's
saying?
it's like how are
And
you
I've been
who
saying that
raised
since I was a kid. Because I watched all
it,
that stuff when I was younger. New Jack City, Minister Society,
we
Boys to
that's what we
Men.
were
I
saying when
seen
you
it in
dropped
movies.
off. We didn't watch all that
Yeah.
shit.
And I ain't never been to jail or picked up a gun. But I watched it.
I
You know
can't
what I'm
say
saying?
that, but
So,
But I did real quick want to be a Cash Money boy. Like I did want to be part of CMB.
I wanted to be a
Like
hot girl. I mean,
you know what I'm saying? Like it didn't last long. I didn't actually go do CMB things.
yeah,
Um,
but you didn't do it.
yeah, yeah, but
it was
the reason why I
cool.
Like
mentioned the
I
desire
wanted to
to
be
do
the
it,
popular kid, like on Saved by the Bell. That's how I thought high school was gonna be. Thought high school
right,
was gonna be like Saved by the Bell from watching it, and it
right.
wasn't.
But I rope all that back into the conversation about perception
Right,
because yeah, if you have to emulate what you see, as you said, Ty, it's already something broken in you that way.
right.
But the problem is that perception does two things. It makes people look at you away, and it makes you look at yourself away.
It does.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's people who start doing these things because they feel like they can't beat the perception. Case in point,
Agree.
there was a point in life where I was intentionally mean and surly. Why?
Mm.
Because that was the perception of myself.
Perception.
No matter how kind I was, no matter how many doors I held for women, no matter how many cats I pull out of a tree, no matter how many times I catch a bully and shake the shit out the bully and give this stuff back to the victim, I'm still somehow treated and viewed as the bad guy. So it's like, y'all win.
Yeah.
I got your bad guy there.
I mean, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, that's part of the thing that is happening with our youth because they're looked at as criminal, thugs, dangerous, whatever. Even that's why I'm not big on the whole thing about making YN a cultural phenomenon because then you have people that subscribe to it
Mm-hmm.
and think that that's what it has to be because like that's what they labeling us as.
Right.
I
You know what I'm
mean,
saying?
we call people OGs.
That's because OGs don't have a firm because they could call anybody old OGs.
And
You
they
know what
trying
I'm
to make it
saying?
seem like you can call anybody a
But then
YN.
but then the problem with that is okay, let's go with the OGs then. The problem with that is they be following them dirt ass old niggas
That's that. Them
and
ones are
calling
not
them
giving niggas.
OGs.
They not really giving up good game. They not
You
really
see
being
what I'm
old
saying?
school.
They listen to
Yeah.
them like OGs. They follow them like they OGs. But they not. They just wash niggas. That's
I
it.
get that.
So it's the same exact thing. It's the same exact thing. You might not even fit the YN category. You might not even deserve to be placed there. But that's how you're perceived. And then after a while you go with it. Same thing with these nut ass old heads. Well, I don't even want to call them old heads. These nut ass old niggas. These old nut ass washed niggas. So
Well,
because young boys look at y'all like OGs, y'all start placing yourself in positions to be OGs, sitting on the stoop, giving out game. Shut your
I don't
stupid
want
ass the
that.
fuck up. You losing in life.
I don't want it. You can't
You
give me
ain't did
advice. You ain't doing
nothing
better
right.
than me.
You ain't did nothing right. And you didn't even learn from what you did wrong. Because that's the thing, right? Somebody who lost in life and is coming back to tell people, don't do this. I could
right.
respect that.
Right.
Right.
Instead, it's the perpetual loser still losing and giving the keys to losing to these young boys.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that be the problem with that. And I wanted to go back to speak to the Tyler Perry, and Power Universe thing. Thank you so much for explaining where Tyler is writing from, Taya. I think that's very, very important in the conversation. And while I didn't know the thing about his not daddy being dark skinned or that not being his dad, I could, if you never told me that, I could have made that up in my head and believed it. If you never gave me that, if you never watched the documentary and heard that from him himself, I could have come up with that exact same scenario because that's what the writing says.
Mm-hmm.
The writing says, I'm giving you this stuff not just because y'all keep eating it up, but because it's all I know. All I know is drama, trauma, and a little bit of Jesus Christ.
I guess that's Medea.
There you go. Okay. Glad thank you for slamming down that. Ooh. Like that's how it goes. That's how it goes every time. So it's like, yeah, I'm gonna give you this really sad or this really traumatic movie. I'm gonna sneak in the moral of the day type situation in there, whether it's outright religious or spiritual, or it's moral slash ethical. I'm gonna slide that in there so that I act like I gave you something to take away from with this movie. And I'm not saying none of the movies never have that, but a lot of times it's done in such unimpactful way. Like it's not any real actual impact to it. It's like, yeah, if you want to take that, you can take it with you, but like, no, not in the way that I feel like should really stick with people. If he, it's disingenuous. There we go. It's disingenuous. It feels disingenuous. Like you put it in there. Pause. You put this moral type thing there, and it's like, all right, but this whole movie been fucked, bro. Like it's like, so for me to try to take this little bit of ray of sunshine and run with it, bro, you're like, I don't know, bro. I don't
Yeah.
know, bro. It's not hitting like you think it's hitting. But yes, redundant, getting redundant, absolutely been redundant. That's like what I said. Like at one point, I used to say, if you watch two Tyler Perry movies, you've seen them all. Like there's different variations. The one thing, and I guarantee you, people who defend Tyler Perry will always bring up Daddy's Little Girls because it's literally like one of the only movies that is markedly different from all the other ones. So I absolutely will concede with Daddy's Little Girls. Absolutely. But it doesn't even like if you just go with the movies, it's not balanced.
The family
His
that prays
depiction
is
is
a good
not
one too.
balanced. Yeah, yeah, okay. Family That Prays. I forgot because I barely watched that movie. But yes, that's the two that I could think of off the top of my head where I'd be like, yeah, you know what, you're right.
And
It's a
Temptation.
Tyler Perry movie, but it's not 100% typical Tyler Perry movie. But the rest of them, yeah, they fall into the same pockets. Poor black woman, all this poor black woman having a terrible go at life, and there's some man behind it. You can shake your head all you want,
Why is
but
not every man?
the track shows and stuff, and comparing it to Power, I kind of go with what Misha's saying, which is what I said to you initially. What I was gonna say to you initially online is everybody's drug dealers on Power.
Yeah.
Everybody, everybody's drug dealers on Power. If you
So
watch Power, like
Clifford,
I laugh at people who watch shows like Power looking for the good guy.
there's no
No.
Nobody's the good guy. Like you said, there's no depiction of genuinely good people here because they don't belong.
I mean, if you think about
They
the power
actually
thing,
don't belong. Because if you're genuinely good, you're either going to end up pushed out the way or dead in the power universe. You don't belong. It's shark infested waters. It's not meant for good, kind people. Those are
I
the people that
mean,
end up getting screwed over in the power universe. The little girl got killed. Raina got killed.
shit, and
Okay?
all the top
Someone
tier
got killed. Someone got
criminals,
killed.
they got their own spin-off show to highlight just how much of a criminal they were.
And then it'd be the same. And I'm sure, because let me not say it like I watched them all. And I'm sure it's the same type of energy where
It
if
is.
you, even if you started off good, you won't be good by season three because the power universe is not a place for good people.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I also, and I want to say what Myron said in the chat. Let's just agree that both are trash and bad for the culture. I'm not gonna lie, I can get behind that.
I can too.
I think a lot of Tyler Perry movies have been trash and bad for the culture, and I think the Power Universe, their depiction is trash and bad for the culture. Now going to what you said about entertaining, yes. At the end of the day, the majority of stuff is entertainment. The problem, like I said, with Tyler Perry is that it's entertainment from his broken place. Like it's personal. He some way finds a way to personally put his pain and his bleeding that he hasn't healed into his projects.
Yeah.
50 is just gonna keep giving you drug dealer, drug dealer, drug dealer, drug dealer, drug dealer, drug dealer. That's
He
it.
giving people what they like.
It's
That's what
also
that is.
it's also redundant, if we're gonna be completely honest.
Yeah.
It's also redundant.
It
Yeah.
is.
I love it. It is. Yeah.
You know, Ghost, Ghost Junior. Tommy, Little
Kanan, Raven
Canaan.
Kanan. No, yeah.
Doesn't
BMF.
matter.
BMF. Yeah, see,
BMF.
and people
The
can say what
only
they want.
pass BMF could ever get is because it's a depiction of something that actually took place.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
That's the only pass they could get, kind of like Snowfall. Snowfall is representative of a certain period of time, and BMF is supposed to be representative of a certain period of time where things actually happen. So those two I look at differently
Yeah,
because it's actually supposed to be based on real life events.
yeah.
Whereas in Power is completely fictitious, and Tyler Perry movies are supposed to be completely fictitious,
We know they not though.
and that's why it hits
To an
different,
extent, no.
and that's why it hits different because not everybody know what Tommy.
No.
Everybody done met a Mike.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
That's a good
at a
point.
certain point in time, because we know that the depiction affects perception, we kind of gotta be willing to acknowledge that it's not just entertainment. It's entertainment. It is entertainment, but it's not just entertainment. Like I like to call certain things irresponsible entertainment because once you built that as your brand and you're not trying to literally say, "Hey, this is me depicting a story of what real life is," you're being irresponsible with your levels of entertainment because you're saying this is what the people like, and I'm gonna just keep giving them because it's gonna keep stacking my pockets up.
And that's the problem I have with these movies and shows.
And like you said, even the music. You know me. At the end of the day, somebody rapping about what their life was or what their life used to be. That's one thing. It's another thing when you're just out here like, because I heard somebody say it the other day. You're trying to make this TikTok song based on like the worst aspects of life. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just sex, money, death. That's it. I'm gonna go ahead and make this 2 minute song about that. That's it.
I,
You're being irresponsible. It's entertainment. It
Yeah.
is, but you're being irresponsible. Like you're not even trying to tell a story at that point. You're just, you're getting paid.
I
Yeah.
think that for us, we'll say it's not just entertainment, right? But other races have, like y'all mentioned earlier, Scarface and all those
Good
things, right?
Godfather,
Right.
Sopranos.
And I wonder, I mean, I don't really know any, does that demographic sit around and say, this is bad for our culture? It's making us look bad.
I
You
don't
know what I
know
mean?
because what's the white show
Outside
where
of
they was doing
Godfather,
meth and all of that shit?
Huh?
Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad, like you. Good point, Taya. I wonder if they watch them shows and be like, they're making our people look
I
bad.
don't think so.
No,
Because
no, they
I feel
don't.
like
But they don't have our
we as a
problems
people are always concerned
They
about how
don't.
we're perceived because we feel like we have to be.
because to a certain
Because
extent we
black
do.
people are
But
always
I will
looked
say
at.
this.
Which
I
you
will
can
say this.
say
I will
why.
say this. I because we have to be careful about how we're perceived amongst each other. I don't even care about the white gays. I don't. If y'all think that we are the lowest of the low, it doesn't matter what we do. Y'all will find reasons to look down on us. History has proven that.
Mm-hmm.
Tulsa, all the other
Yeah, suits and
communities,
ties. You got beat with suits and ties. You get beat with white
right.
tees.
So
It
I don't
doesn't matter.
care how you will never hear me say you're making us look bad in front of the whites.
Okay, all right.
No. What I'm saying is just like how you said, you see somebody with a shiesty and you're on guard. That is our own perception of our own people.
Right.
So feeding into that is bad because now you got to go back where you came from Mimi got to reach and make sure that thing is at easy access. So we're not building community at that point. We're not pouring into each other at that point. We're not connecting at that point. Had you just decided to leave the scene, you wouldn't even found out them kids was so polite. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say perception matters among us.
I got you.
That's why it matters to me. And we're creating the entertainment. It's not even just like how it used to be, where there's a white producer just hiring black actors. We are now in charge. 50 is a mogul.
Courtney
Tyler
Kemp.
Perry is a mogul. Courtney Kemp got power. No pun intended.
Bars.
And this is what we decide to do with it.
I mean, it was like, but you know what? It's not just those shows because I think about it when you
It's
said
not
that
just those shows.
when Shonda Rhimes was doing,
Yes, Shonda Rhimes is caught flack because of how she portrays black people in her shows.
yeah,
She caught flack for
yeah.
Scandal.
Okay, because I was trying to think of it. They was like, why she gotta be fucking a white president? It's like, oh my
Why
god,
she had
it's
to be a side
stupid.
piece to the white man.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
that's the perception. But if you ask Shonda Rhimes, it wasn't a black woman and a white man. It's just people.
Okay,
Right.
Shonda. Okay, Shonda.
We see a black woman and a white man. She's like, no, it's just
Yeah.
people.
I mean, you got people that watch it like Breaking Bad, and I know they see motherfucker, they be
And I
like, because
watch
I know I
Scandal.
see a white person, I be like, oh, I know they do meth. White people don't do that to white people.
And even if they do, they don't care. It's not going to ruin it.
That's true.
Even if you
They don't
see
care.
that person who's clearly short on teeth, you know that's Matthew or methany. At the end of the day, that perception is not going to complicate life for Matthew or methany the way it will for me or one of y'all.
Yeah.
But
Perception is
so
key.
we could go back to our movies, right? We could go back to Boys in the Hood,
Yeah?
Menace to Society. When those movies and things came out, people were not saying that. They weren't saying, oh,
No.
it's making us look bad. They're saying, this is letting the world see what really goes on
That's
in our
true.
neighborhoods, right? So
But those
we go
movies
back to
weren't
the movies.
intentionally telling those stories.
Listen, right. So again, stay there. So we go back to the movie Straw, right? And the purpose of Straw was showing the world what some black women go through when it comes to
Right.
mental health, when it comes to being a single mother, when it comes to navigating the system. That was the point. That was the point. It's the same
Yes.
thing. I'm showing the world, in case y'all didn't know, it's heavy sometimes for these black women out here. And this is what I'm showing you. You know what I mean? So it's
You
just,
know what?
in 2025, putting mental health on a high stage, on the screen for everybody to watch. And millions of people watch this movie. So now, right now, it's fresh in everybody's mind is black women's mental health. Is mental health in general. Is the system, or be kind to people because you don't know what they're going through. And you know what I mean? All these things were highlighted in this movie. So that's why when people are like, oh, we don't want to see black trauma. We don't want to see black trauma. I'm like, it's black trauma, but it's still reality too. And
I
it's,
mean,
it's
y'all.
things that we can't ignore simply because it's a bad depiction or it doesn't make us feel good or whatever, right? It wasn't supposed to. It was
Right.
supposed to have the reaction that it had. This is
I, for
some
one, I am
women's,
tired of black trauma. I am.
huh?
I, for one, I am one of those people on the boat screaming loudly that I'm tired of black trauma production.
No, listen. Before
Production
people
or
say,
black
So,
trauma,
I'm a land
period.
here.
black,
So
black, what do you mean black trauma period? I mean, I don't want black people to have trauma
I
if that's what you're
mean,
asking.
but we do.
no, no, no. I know
But
you don't.
but that's what I'm
What I'm
saying.
saying
So
is,
I'm speaking to the productions as far as like
That's what I'm
saying the
saying. So
music,
you're
the
just
TV show. So
the
that's why I say the
entertainment piece
productions.
of it, the entertainment piece
Yes.
of it.
Yes, it's one thing again, even to the certain extent where I'm not giving a pass for everybody going back and telling a story
right.
uh that's based on a real story. Like, don't nobody black got no good stories to tell.
Yes, but people don't watch them.
How do we know when have they been
All
put
right, I
out?
give you an example. I give you an example. Did you watch Forever? Did you
No,
watch Forever?
no,
Did
but I
you
didn't
watch
watch Straw
Forever?
either.
No, I'm asking you. Did you watch Forever?
No, I don't know what it is.
Okay. My point is exactly.
How is that your
That
point? Do I
wasn't
know that
that
was a
wasn't
good movie?
highlighted. That
Eh,
wasn't
That's
no. That's not
that
true. That's
movie's
true.
doing
Well,
really well
so
though. But
That's
the show, excuse me, that show is doing really well on Netflix.
right. So
So
listen.
that
why
wouldn't prove your
My
why?
point.
point is,
Well, no, no, no. But what would prompted you to not watch it? What hasn't prompted you to watch it?
There's nothing that prompted me to watch it.
So what
you should
prompts you to
watch it.
watch other stuff? Because you should,
You should
Hmm?
watch
especially
it.
since
You'll enjoy it.
you should, especially since you have a teenage son.
You
You
will
should
enjoy
watch
it.
it.
I'll take that under advisement.
You'll love Wood Harris as the dad in
I
this
love Wood
Oh,
show.
Harris as an
He's one
actor,
of the
so
greatest
that's
and
now
he's
that
been a great dad
that's a good
in
reason
a
to watch it.
long time.
That's a
so
good reason to watch it.
Mara Broca Kill is one of the most underappreciated African American writers, and I'm going to tell you what the problem is. People like her get pushed to the side because they want to see the shit that's on TV, right? And then also people are so desensitized because Taya, let's be clear. Let's talk about a lot of the negative
That's a
comments
good
that are
point.
coming out about Forever because it's too raw and it's too real. This young man, sorry for anybody who hasn't seen it, spoiler alert, you should have watched it. This young man has ADD, and his ADD is
Y'all telling me to watch it and
bad.
spoiling it at the same time.
Well, I mean, I'll give
You
you the
gonna find
basics.
that out in the first second.
Yeah, you are. This young girl is involved in
I heard this
a,
video.
Scandal.
a scandal. Yeah, I was trying to think of a nice way to say it. A scandal, and the way she was treated at the little school that she went to, and the situation it put her in was fucked up. But it's a reality.
Okay.
The parents, the so for me, the young Justin's parents was enough for me to be locked in on this show
Who was
because
Justin, the
of
ADD kid?
yes,
Yeah.
the
Okay.
way that Wood Harris as and not just as a father, as a black male, period, as a husband,
Mm-hmm.
a man
Mm-hmm.
was portrayed in this movie is the type of shit I want to see. The
Right.
mother
Okay.
who is deemed a catastrophizing mother. She has a like a cadastral like parenting style. So when she's like, I had to go to therapy, or else I don't know if I'd be able to parent. And she still wasn't where she needed to be to parent her ADD son properly. And the way they try to push it off as caring, concern, and love, when really it was just you catastrophize everything. Real life situations that we black people are dealing with out in the world with our kids, at work with family, close friends. Because one of the things, the Uncle Charlie situation, he's trying to keep it real with Justin, and the mother's like, "No, don't do that. Don't." He was like, "No, I need to." He's like, "No, you know what? I'm not gonna." Uncle Charlie loves you. Go make me a drink. It's like this is the shit that black people do. We know we need to be addressing stuff, but because we don't want to hurt nobody's feelings, we don't address it, and then we wonder why these kids end up in fucked up situations and they can't make decisions for themselves. It, it's the kind of TV we need to be watching. But now everybody
It
want to
was
watch
really good.
Okay.
Power.
You
It
should
was
watch
really
it.
good. It was really good. And
Next time you heard I
unfortunately,
loved
I'm
it.
going to say the
You
same thing
can't stop
about
talking about it.
Straw because I feel like even though it's a Tyler Perry production, because of what was addressed and the way we push mental health on this show, I gave it a watch just for that reason.
Okay.
I mean, he
Now,
overdid it as usual,
he,
but the
he
points
does.
were made.
I'm about to say yeah.
Yes.
Man,
Now I will tell you, I don't care
overdid it.
who's in it. I
He
don't care
overdid it.
who's in it. Y'all not gonna get me to watch a
He,
Tyler Perry
You
movie
don't
ever
have
for
to
again.
watch it.
for Taraji to be the actress,
No.
it was overdone. Like it was like it didn't. You put too much sauce, too much chip and dip. Like I'm sorry,
Because you don't know how not to.
And that
but he
Tayana
thinks that's
Taylor
what.
wig, no.
Yeah, but he
Sorry,
thinks
I had
that's
to
what
bring it
gets
up.
people's
Sorry.
attention.
She looked like
And
Michael
I,
Jackson
Right.
when he was hanging the baby over the balcony. That's what her wig looked like.
it was bad. So it's just like
Well, that's what else he is known for, atrocious wigs,
atrocious wigs. But I think the TV that we
even on
need to
men.
be partaking in is getting overlooked because we're so used to watching this other shit and we're becoming so desensitized. But I think we need to start watching the Ginny and Georgia movies, even though that's like about
What
the
is
little.
that?
So it's a show about a mixed race young lady whose mom is white and dad is black, but it's her life from the view of shit that her mother does. Like her mother is one of those people that's been in white woman that's into a whole bunch of gang shit, and then she get into some shit and always running from it, and it's showing how it's affecting her as a mixed race, child, and like the black grandmother trying to step in and teach her how to be a black girl, even though she's being raised by this white mom who is completely like oblivious to what that young black girl really goes through, to where she's like self harming, and they didn't even know that was going on.
Mm,
It's like when you watch it, it's kind of
sounds
crazy.
interesting.
Yeah, I haven't
It,
watched it.
But I'm gonna check out Forever. Monica
please
said something
do.
about it, and now y'all said something about it. So
Forever was good. I
So
I'll
watched it
give it a
twice.
watch.
I watched it
the
I'll
twice.
other
give it a watch.
the other thing is the show like Papa's House, right? With Damon Wayans and his
I didn't
son.
watch that one. Yeah.
Exactly. So I thought that show was good. It was surrounded around him having a podcast with Essence Atkins, and through the
Mm.
podcast he was like discovering stuff about himself because he was still the bitter about his divorce from his wife, and his son lives next door with his family, and then them two kind of
Hmm.
fixing their relationship through the show, through the podcast. I thought it was really good. It got canceled because people weren't really watching it, right? But this goes back to why some
Damon
people are
Wayne show's
making the
always gonna
things
be
that they're
canceled.
making. Because if
Hmm.
we're going to keep it real, people are entertained by negativity. Now,
It's
Exactly.
a
like I
fact.
said, I watch the Power shows. I watch some Tyler Perry movies and shows, right? But I also watch Pop House. I also watch Forever. I also watch all my old black TV sitcoms. So I have a balance. I'm
We
not
eclectic.
consuming black trauma 24/7. I got a balance. So a lot of stuff I watch that have nothing to do with black trauma whatsoever. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So that's
I
Yeah.
why
feel
to
that.
me I'm like, every once in a while this is my guilty pleasure. I find it entertaining. I don't take it
Yeah.
seriously, and I keep it moving, right? But let me tell you something. I don't watch. I don't watch slave movies. No, ma'am. No, sir.
Funny
I
you
will
said
not.
that because here
Now
goes
that's
Myron Goofy behind in the chat. He said this a minute ago, talking about some. I don't know about y'all, but I feel like we're overdue for a nice trauma-filled slave movie.
yeah. He on his own with that. The
That's
last
that's
slave
that's Myron
movie I
being Myron.
watched
He's not being
Exactly,
serious.
Myron.
was
Myron.
12 Years a Slave. And after
Yeah,
that, I said
yeah,
I
no.
ain't watching enough. I'm not watching no more slave movies.
I
I
That
watched the
was
mean,
last slave movie I watched was Amistad. I was done after that.
oh well, yeah. You go back further than me, but
Yeah,
yeah.
no,
yeah.
because again, like why? Even when I heard about 12 Years a Slave, I'm like, why in the that title alone? Why the
Ooh,
fuck do I want to watch this?
no, that one is the worst
No,
of
I'm
them all
cool.
because he was free and got
Yeah, you
tricked
see,
into
no.
becoming a slave.
Okay, I'm glad I missed that. Glad I missed
They
out
got
on
him
that.
drunk, and he woke up tied up,
Glad,
shackled, and they made him a slave. They took him to a state where slavery was legal
glad I missed out on that.
because he was
I'd have
dumb enough
walked
to go
out.
with him,
I can't
and that's
imagine
how they
being in
made
the
him a
theater
slave.
seeing that shit. I'd have walked out. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not sitting through that.
Horrible,
I'm
Yeah.
not
horrible.
sitting through that.
I'm more along the lines of going to see Lilo and Stitch and shit like that. Give
Okay,
me,
okay. I'm
I
going to
like
see
about you.
Superman.
listen.
I'm going
Look,
to see Fantastic Four.
my niece at the
I'm going
door,
to see.
telling me wrap it up. She was like, "We got a Lilo and Stitch marathon to do." She's like, "Come on, so we go see the new one tomorrow." So I'm like, that's the kind of shit that I want to watch. I don't want to watch nothing that's going to traumatize
Yeah,
me and
I'm a
That's my
Cobra
thing. I want to
Kai.
watch stuff that I enjoy.
joy. Yeah,
So I don't want no black trauma, nothing. I don't want. I don't want it. Even the joint you was talking about saying too rough. The Jenny and Georgia, that sounded a little too rough for me.
It's not, but I see
I,
why you would think
I,
that.
no, that didn't sound alluring at all. Self-harming, mixed black girl confused by bad white mom.
No,
I'm cool. I'm cool on that. I'm gonna go
all
watch
I'm
anime
saying is
instead.
it's good
I tried to
writing.
watch that. I couldn't get into
It's
it.
it's
I'm,
good writing.
I'm gonna go watch anime instead.
I got a
Um,
trauma
Fair enough.
limit though.
I'll
I got a
catch up on
trauma
some
limit.
Johns I ain't watched in a while. Like that's the
Yeah,
other thing too. I don't think I have any. Do I have any current TV shows? I might not.
I don't watch TV.
I might not.
I mean, I think I
I
I
might
tried
didn't
not.
watch
watching Fire
Godfather of
Country.
Harlem.
Yeah,
I did say I was gonna go back and watch that because
yeah.
a couple of
People told
episodes
me to
I
watch
did see
it.
was kind of dope
People
Yeah,
told me to
it's
watch
good.
that.
because it's just really
He got
good
some
acting.
weakness
And
on there
sometimes
though.
I will get lured into some black trauma when there's really good acting. I'm not gonna lie,
And
but
there's
I
good
try to stay
acting
my
on
best to stay away
Godfather of
from it.
Harlem.
I do
And it's
try to
not
stay
just
away
black
from it.
people on Godfather of Harlem either. So
Yeah, I know that. I know that. I
yeah,
know that.
Italians as well.
Yeah.
Of course.
It's a good show.
Um, a lot of shows or movies from that time period, like you said, is not just gonna have black people in it.
Right.
Anything with Bumpy Johnson more than likely is not gonna have just black people in it because there's a
Well,
greater story to be told there. You have to tell
I
the
mean, it
complete
was
Yeah.
story.
trauma watching Malcolm X get killed again, but you know,
Ooh, shit.
that was traumatic. Watch, and I'm watching it like I'm hoping that they ain't gonna kill him in the episode. Like, you know, he's about to
Myron
die. Like,
said Taraji in all caps will play a slave before it's all said and done. She will, bro. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. She will.
I don't know.
She will. She will. As long as the check is right, she gonna play it.
I feel like
She's
they
gonna
don't
play it.
need to make no more slave movies. I mean, how
I
much
don't.
more
I
can
don't.
you
I don't
cover
never
in
want to
20?
hear another one in existence.
It's
If
crazy.
you need to go ahead and explain what slavery is via movie, go watch one of the old ones. We don't need
Yeah.
no
Go
new
watch
ones.
Roots. That
We
tells
don't
it
need no
all.
more new ones.
Yeah, just go back to
I
Um,
saw
Roots.
Roots
That's all
from
y'all need to
beginning to
watch.
end.
even the Emmett Till movie that dropped, I understood the
I didn't watch that either.
purpose,
I didn't watch
but
that.
I'm not watching it.
I didn't watch that either. I didn't watch
Um,
Harriet Tubman.
no,
I don't
nope.
think I
I didn't
watched
watch
that
Harriet
either.
either.
I'm
So
good.
that's what I'm saying. I am anti-black trauma porn. I'm not watching it. I'm not watching black trauma on top of black trauma. I'm not watching drug dealing to be drug dealing. I haven't watched Power since the first season of book two,
Mm.
and I didn't even watch that all the way through. I watched the first episode and the last one for the season because I hate Tariq so bad.
Shit, I didn't even
And the
realize
fact
BMF
that
was
he's
back
still
on.
alive, bothers me. Um,
Well, I didn't
yeah,
like both
I'm
seasons
with
either.
you.
I
I
like
didn't
the
even
whole
know
other
BMF was
cast.
back on either. Me, I done missed the last few seasons since we was doing it. After we stopped doing the coverage of it, I haven't
I
watched.
feel, no,
I
I feel
lied.
like
I
we
Get
lied.
back
covered.
on
I
last
watched.
week.
We covered that season.
I
We covered
watched.
that
No, no,
last
no.
season.
That's what I'm saying. We watched the first two seasons, right? We covered the
Yeah, there
first
was
two
two
seasons. I feel
seasons.
like, yeah. And
Yeah, this is
then
season
I dropped
4.
off. Yeah, I dropped off.
Yeah.
It's stupid right
I,
now.
I think I watched the first two seasons. I mean, not the first two. The first two episodes of season three, and that was it for me. No, no, no more, no more
Yeah.
BMF. No more BMF. Like Lamar alive again. I'm cool.
Oh,
Yeah,
y'all
because
gonna
I
watch
think
it?
it just started back up, right? I think I watched
It started
the
back
I
up.
first
seen
episode.
commercials for it, so I don't know if it's out, but I know I seen commercials for it
No,
coming back.
So,
so
all right.
that's
Well,
what
I'm not
happened.
gonna
I
spoil
watched
it.
Straw and I watched BMF that same night because I was like, I need something to turn the tide after watching Straw.
So you know what he just said is not true, then, right?
Who, Myron?
About Lamar.
Oh, what? He dead again? He finally dead? Oh, all right. Sorry for whoever that spoils it for, but y'all was
Yeah,
watching it,
it's
Sorry
a
to
not
new
that
me.
episode.
man.
Come on tonight.
Not me. I
Hmm.
The
wasn't
whole
watching it no
week.
more. Yeah, I was done. I was done. I was done. I was done.
Yeah.
I don't care that much about Meech, Terry, BMF. Like
I
It's
it
like
it's
literally
becoming
everything that
soap
we were talking
opera
about,
show.
it got redundant.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's becoming soap opera
And
ish.
then what happened with they mom and they dad, that drama, like That just got sad to me. I ain't want to
Oh,
see
with
that
the
no more
neighbor,
neither.
with
Yeah,
baby,
with Charles sleeping with the neighbor, the
Charles sleeping
mom
with
wild,
baby.
mom wilding out, the mom getting vicious because she got her heart broke. I ain't want to see that shit, bro.
But mom kept
Cool
telling
Wow.
on
him
that.
no every night. Never
Listen,
mind.
I ain't
Never
getting into
mind.
that whole
Never mind.
conversation.
Hey,
Right, I ain't
never
getting
mind.
into that whole
Hey,
conversation.
well,
Hey,
on
guess
that
what? I'm about to
note,
defend the black man. I'm
Right,
about to
we
defend
go, we
Charles.
go, we gonna
I'm
walk
about to
away at that
defend
point.
Charles right now.
yep.
That wife every night was too tired to sleep with her husband every single night. And he'd turn over and be like, all right, cool.
It's about to be the
Mabel
clip,
threw it
Leash.
at him. He like, I'm a man. I ain't had nothing in a while. My wife
Yeah,
keep
got
telling me
me.
no.
She did hawk Charles down too. Good lord.
She turned Charles down every night.
No, I'm talking about like the neighbor. She hawked Charles down.
She definitely did.
Yeah,
But
because
I
she
ain't
was
getting
friends
to.
with the mom, so
Yeah,
she
she's a
probably was
snake.
telling her what was going on.
Yeah.
That's a whole
Watch
nother
your run your
conversation
mouth to the enemy.
about girls complaining about their man to the home girl. All right, thank y'all for joining us tonight
Just
for
saying.
this conversation. Hopefully, what we all took from this conversation, if you watch, is that again, perception is not always reality,
Nope.
but we as a community have to do a better job
Projection is
about
though.
protecting. Yes, absolutely. We have to do a better job of protecting our perception amongst ourselves. Again, the white gays and everybody else out there looking, it doesn't matter because we will probably never be good enough for anybody who's not black. But we got to
True.
tidy up our shit. We can't keep playing into the stereotypes just because that's a good way to make money. I
Yeah.
mean, otherwise, I'd be just arguing with Mish every week and, run the views up to a million. We sit here bashing each other and like, what I mean, we could do that for 5 episodes and go viral.
We definitely.
But
But that's
that's
not
not what
tonight's
we.
conversation.
Ooh, ooh,
No shade.
wow.
No pun intended.
Now that's shady. Shots fired. Headshot. Pussy.
Hey.
Oh man. No, this was a good conversation. We got a lot of things fleshed out. I appreciate you, Ty, for coming through, blessing us with your
Appreciate you having me.
presence. Definitely glad to have Niche back in the building as usual.
And I sat here sweating
Anything?
to death, having a whole hot summer over
Hey,
here
listen,
for
cause I,
y'all.
I, I done
I'm
said it two
dying.
times. Let's make the third time. Lisa came to the door. She like, wrap that shit up, B. Let's get it.
Before we roll out, Taya, you talk to the people, let them know where they could find you and whatever you have for the people to tap in with. Besides, Podlink Philly type stuff. But no, mention Podlink Philly type stuff too. Let's go.
All right, you can follow me, Just
Good.
Type Brand LLC, JUSTTYA BRAND LLC. I have my own podcast every Tuesday, Ty's Tuesday Thoughts. This week's episode is called My Name Is Not Susan by the late great Whitney Houston.
Mhm.
Um, my Author Tees line will be back up and running July 1st, thank God. Yeah, I'm also curator, one of the owners of Podcast Link Philly. That is a group of podcasters from the tri-state area who all linked up together to put on live shows, go on other people's shows, and just push the vision of Philly, support Philly. Um, that's all I got right now.
Yeah, appreciate you. Appreciate you. Nisha,
What's
any parting
Nas a
words
part
before we
of?
cut?
Sorry.
Indeed, a proud member.
Mm. Oh, nothing for
The
me.
goat.
All right, cool, 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 cool,
The
cool.
one everybody come to see.
I'm trying to
Don't put
remain
the spice on.
humble.
Nah, Reed, the one everybody come to see.
Don't put no spice on. They ain't coming to podcast like Philly, you see me.
Hey,
They coming to
take the
see my
compliment,
homegirl
sir.
say something crazy on the mic.
Take the
Shout out to Dana.
compliment. I'm defending a black man publicly. Take the compliment.
Say less.
See
Say
what I
less.
said?
No, you ain't
What I
used to
say?
it.
We
It
can't
takes
do it, so we
capital.
don't do it. Y'all don't let us do it, so we won't
Hey,
do it.
Shut up,
it
sis.
takes
You
the
ain't right.
capital. I know you ain't see. Look, you
Fucking
smiling. You
saying.
smiling.
Told you, applehead ass. Y'all don't make
You're
it. Y'all
smiling. Look at that smile.
y'all
Apple
make it
ass is crazy.
all your revenge on them. Like,
Oh
damn.
my
That's my
God. That wasn't
strategy. Make him
defending. That was promotion.
smile. Now I'm about to make him
Same
smile
difference.
again. It's Father's
No,
Day
oh, it
weekend.
ain't. Oh, it ain't.
Happy Father's Day to you.
Appreciate that.
Don't
Appreciate
let
that.
nobody make you get on the grill.
I'm
Tell
coming.
them you want to be taken
Hey, I
out
just shot
like
that
they get
down.
taken out.
I
You
just
want to
shot
get
that
on the
idea down
grill.
earlier
You're
today.
not
Yeah.
grilling. You don't
I
want no
ain't
grill
putting
food,
on
and
my
you don't want
grilling
no grill
panties.
as a gift. No.
Oh, you don't want no coochie? Okay, you might want coochie as a gift. I don't know. Some men do be want
Not as
coochie
a
as a
gift.
No.
Not as a
You
celebration.
know what
gift.
that
It's not a
is?
gift.
No.
Abolish that as a gift.
No, no,
I don't
no,
care if
no
you put a
Father's
bow
Day
on it. It's the
coochie. I
same
don't care if
shit.
you don't wax it.
That's
Unless you
right.
bring in some more.
No. Hey, Mish. Now, this is why black women don't defend black men. You gotta go too far. Now, you always go. Come on, Tyler Perry. Come on, Tyler Perry. You ain't have to go that far, Tyler Perry.
Fuck it. You're young. You're young.
See, that was the
If
last
you
straw,
Oh,
Tyler Perry.
if
You did
you
not
get if
have to
you
go
get
that
some
far.
yeah.
motherfucking draw socks in the car, that's on you. Cause you should keep
Oh man.
motion.
Oh man, that's
But happy
hilarious. I wasn't
Father's
speaking
Day
for me,
to
I was speaking for the
you
other
and
brothers.
all the
Yeah.
men.
I
Key
want a
word.
PlayStation 5.
All
Keep the
the
coochie.
men. Happy Father's Day to all the men.
Oh, cause I was just about to say.
Appreciate that.
Capitalizing on
You know what?
men. Y'all
I'm
women are not
coming.
fathers.
Appreciate that.
You're just
All
a
right,
super
we see y'all
mom,
men
but you're
about to
not
get
a
caught
dad.
off the screen, so let me sign us off.
Look, come here.
Oh, my
On
Come
bad.
here.
behalf
I'm
of
sorry.
A,
I started doing
I
my name.
see that E,
Hey,
our
man.
brother who we always be, on behalf of our sponsor, Denver's Mom. Hey.
Yeah, so I didn't want y'all to think I was lying. She just said, hurry up,
No,
wrap it
No,
up.
no,
I
no,
took
no.
I
Listen, I
took
know how
my
it go.
earrings off to defend you.
I know how it go. I appreciate you, man. I
Go get it
appreciate
ready.
y'all.
I'm coming.
Now you can't say nobody ain't never defend you, cause I did.
I didn't say nobody
I'm
ever did. I
coming.
just said it rarely
Well, you're
happens,
not
but I
used to it.
appreciate it every time it happens.
All right.
Um, but yeah, on behalf of Denver Mom, aka the owner of Simply the Shake Catering and the co-owner of Second Line Express, Quiche with the Cakes, on behalf of
Jeez.
one third of the founders of Podlink Philly, Ty the curator, on behalf of the squishy gangster, me the goddess, aka Big Niche, on behalf of your favorite coach, as I always say, be smart, be respectful, be patient, be kind to as many people as you possibly can. I know some people gonna make that impossible. Don't worry about it. But please, please, please take the time out every single day to be kind to yourselves because you cannot pour out of an empty cup.
Nope.
Appreciate y'all. We love y'all. And we're going to catch y'all on the next one. We
I
out, though.
got